Yo, what's good, bro? So this video is going to be going basically explaining Smt-Fill and also how to use PSPs for continuations. Okay, so firstly we'll start with Smt-Fill. Super simple concept. So all you need to see is a fair value up form at exactly the same time on at least two assets. Okay, and then all you need to see from there is one asset trade into that fair value up and one asset fail. Okay, so there's multiple variants to it. That is the main one where you see one asset trade into gap and another asset that has that exact same gap fail completely to trade into its gap. Okay, so like we've got at the moment, you can see NQ and YM. Okay, so this 4 hour gap, this specific one right here, formed at the exact same time, also there on ES. Okay, so let me actually mark this out because I can show you the second example. So firstly, you can see YM trade into it, whereas NQ has not yet tapped into it at all. Okay, so that's one example of an Smt-Fill. Another example is where you get one asset trade into the gap but fail to trade above 50% of the gap. So you can use that line there. It looks like, yeah, ES did trade above 50, but let's just say, for example, it didn't come above that 50% level of the gap, and then YM did. Okay, so you can see YM filled it completely and ES failed to fill it completely. Okay, so you've got one asset trading into it, one asset failing completely. Another example would be where you get one asset filling it completely and another asset failing to fill it completely. So you can see ES came above 50 but failed to fill the gap completely. Okay, whereas YM did. That's the second example. And then the third example where you get one asset above 50% and then another asset below 50%. Okay, so that means none of the gaps are filled completely, but one asset at least traded above 50%. Okay, so let's just, for example, let's just say NQ went there. Okay, let's just say this is NQ's wick below 50% of its gap, whereas ES slightly above 50% of that gap there. Okay, so that's the three examples right there of Smt-Fill. Now you wondered how to use PSPs for continuations. Okay, so mainly you want to be looking at those higher time frame ones for the continuation trades. Let me see if I got my indicator turned on. Yeah, it looks like I do, but not many PSPs on this move down. We got one there, sort of towards the bottom here though. But for continuations, you basically just want to see them form in line with your drawn liquidity. Okay, so like a good example here, right? This whole entire move lower, you can see every single bearish PSP was literally a valid trade. So valid trade, 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 and then again there, another one there, as you can see. Okay, so what I would do is, once you see that PSP form, okay, what you can do is scale down to one time frame lower and look for your true order block inside of it. Okay, and then you can just wait for price may trade into it multiple times. Okay, so you can either do that, or you can just specifically mark out the PSPs and then just treat them like order blocks. Okay, because inside of their wicks there will be a true order block. Okay, as you can see, multiple times price traded into the PSP before then dropping lower. Okay, and then again here, as you can see, previous old PSP over here, trade it into multiple times. So there, once there, another time there, another time there. Okay, and then again these ones here, mark that out, price trades into it a very lot, like not very lot, that's not even a word, a very large amount of times. As you can see, again there we did close above it there, so potentially that one wouldn't have been as valid. Another one here, you can see. So this is how we can use them. And of course, once price is inside of the PSP, you want to go down to that lower time frame and look for the lower time frame cracks within inside of it. Okay, but what I would advise doing is, once you see the PSP form, just scale down to that lower time frame and look for the true order block. Okay, so in this example right here, this 4 hour 2 p.m. PSP, okay, on Monday the 17th. So because this is a bearish PSP, we want to scale down one time frame lower, so to the hourly, and because it's a bearish PSP, we want to look for that final up close candle from that 2 p.m. till 6 p.m. time window. Okay, so let's take a look. Monday 17th of March at 2 p.m. So Monday 17th of March at 2 p.m. As you can see right here. Okay, so whereabouts is it? This one? Would it be this candle here actually? No, it'd be this one, sorry. As you can see, this is our final up close candle within inside of that 4 hour PSP. Okay, so basically this just filters out the area, like the reactive area of that PSP, because we know it's the wick that's reactive, but it's a specific order block inside of it. Okay, that's the most reactive. As you can see, price traded into it here, and we did also, I believe, here we had a 90-minute sequential SMT as well. Okay, so this is what you want to be doing. Mark out the hourly order block, then you can go down to the 15-minute, you can go down to the 5-minute, look for the 90-minute SMT, look for the daily cycle sequential SMT inside of the order blocks. Okay, so you can use the PSPs to filter out the order blocks and then look for lower time frame cracks inside of the order blocks. And of course, if these are in line with the order flow, price will trade into it, treat it like an order block before dropping lower. Okay, and then once we finally flip the order block, so once we inverse it, as you can see right there, as soon as we get that closure above, price just rips higher. Okay, so you can treat them like that as well. Once they get invalidated, you can treat them sort of inversion order blocks, whatever you want to do with that. Okay, so yeah, hopefully this video makes sense. If you've got any questions about anything at all, then again, just type it in chat, just let me know, and I can always make another video or answer any questions that you got. Okay, other than that, I will see you later.